So eventually, the DACA rule will eventually come out. Yo-yo, for those who may not remember, President Biden reinstated DACA and allowed even new applications to be filed for people who had qualified for DACA and never made an initial application. The state of Texas sued Biden to say he did not follow the rules and regulations on how to make a change to an executive order. And as a result of that, the Texas judge blocked President Biden's rule change. Similar, by the way, didn't learn anything from Donald Trump. Similar to what Donald Trump did when he tried to end DACA.
Right.
That he made a final rule to end the DACA program also without following the proper procedures in which
I'm like, what?
to end a rule.
Why are they making the same mistake?
I don't understand that. So now that the I don't know if maybe the smartest people are not going into politics these days. I don't know.
I mean, don't they have somebody that actually
Yeah, I don't understand.
I don't know.
I don't get it. But so any event, so now because the DACA rules have been blocked by a Texas judge, they are still accepting renewals of people who are in the DACA program. What they're not accepting is new applications. President Biden finally got smart, and he actually followed the rules of making a change to a regulation. And there he is. Maybe he's signing a change in a regulation. Maybe he's signing a law there. Who knows? But ultimately, the way that a regulation gets changed or installed is you have to go through a rule-making process. We do not have kings in the United States of America. They just threw the Queen out of Barbados.
Yep.
We threw the Queen and King out of America, United States of America. I'm always, by the way...
Wait, when did we have King and Queen here?
Before 1776.
It was the King and Queen?
Yes.
Who?
Whoever the King of George.
Was I didn't know that.
Yeah, before 1776. Who ran the United States?
Yeah.
It was the Confederate States, and it was just separate states actually. It wasn't even a confederacy, and it was ruled by England.
Oh, but it was ruled by England.
Right.
It wasn't like a king and queen here in the States.
The king was in London.
In London.
Just like in Barbados, the Queen was in London. But it was still
I didn't even know that.
Still part of the British Empire.
Definitely didn't know that.
We threw them out in 1776. The British have been thrown out of every decent place in the world at some point in time. Doesn't mean they're bad people.
No.
Now I have nothing against them.
Just overstay your welcome a little.
Yeah, I have nothing against them now. But you think about it, they were thrown out of every decent place in the world at one point in time. Any event, since we don't have a king or queen, we have to go through a rule-making process. And part of the rule-making process is to publish to the constituents, the people of the United States of America, what the rule will be. And part of being in a democracy is after you publish what the rule is going to be, you allow Americans, U.S. citizens, to comment on it, whether they like the rule or they don't like the rule, or whether you should change the rule. And then when you do make the final rule, you have to take into consideration all of the comments that people made and say why I disagree, why we do agree, why we changed the rule per your comment, or why we didn't change your rule per your comment. And that way, it's a participatory situation where the common person, the person on the street, the U.S. citizen, the American citizen, can participate in all of the rulemaking that happens in the United States of America. And this happens with every rule that is made. That is the process you have to go through. And it is a process of months and months and months. And you have to collect everybody's comments, read through them, and then write a final rule going through all the comments saying, we agree with this, we disagree with this, we change this, we disagree with this. But at least everybody gets to have their say. And that's why Donald Trump never was able to remove DACA, because he didn't go through that process. He just eliminated it by a stroke of a pen. That's why the Supreme Court overruled it. And then when President Biden came into office, He reinstated the entire DACA program and even allowed new applications to be submitted without going through the same process. So now they're going through the process.
Well, at least they're doing it now.
Right, and there's now 9,300 responses ahead of this Monday's deadline for public comments on the DACA rule. And notable among the groups that wrote in support of the proposed rule, which would solidify protections, including work authorization and deportation relief for all of the Dreamers, was a coalition of 24 state attorney generals led by the California Attorney General Rob Bonta. So you can also be a public official and make a comment as well. Representing territories including New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Illinois, Massachusetts, Washington, D.C., the officials touted the benefits the DACA recipients have imparted while costing their states relatively little money. Most of the comments were to make the DACA program permanent, either by law change or by executive order, never to have it rescinded. Now, it could always be rescinded by another president in the future if they actually go through the regulatory process.
Right.
The only way to make it permanent is for Congress to pass a law. And right now, there is no pending law for Dreamers. The only pending law in Congress right now is the Plan C. The Plan C is passed the House of Representatives. It's for parole. You have to be here by January 1st, 2011. And in the end, one person, and actually two people in the United States, are going to determine whether or not millions and millions and millions and millions of people can better their lives. Talking about not being in a democracy at that point when you have two people controlling the fate of millions and millions and millions of people's lives. You know who those two people are?
It's one, the parliamentarian.
The parliamentarian and Senator Manchin from West Virginia. Because basically every other senator has basically more or less signed on to the parole changes as being part of the budgetary process, the Build Back America plan. The only one who hasn't signed on to it, at least publicly, Senator Manchin from West Virginia.
Right.
And he said he will only do it
if the
parliamentarian does it. And we have not heard from the parliamentarian yet.
And she's going through her own personal thing.
Yeah, she's going through cancer treatments.
Right. Which is why, like, last time I feel like she just threw out the answer before she started her cancer treatments.
Yeah, so we don't know. We haven't heard publicly from her. My concern is if she turned down the first two.
That's what I'm thinking.
It seems like there's a lot of precedent to turn down the third one as well.
I don't see her passing because
I don't know why all of a sudden the first two is a law change and not a budgetary, a budget clause, and now this Plan C all of a sudden is a budget thing and not a change in law.
I feel like they both were.
They're all three of them are, quite frankly.
I mean, all three of them.
You can make an argument both ways. I mean, you can make an argument that Plan B was not a law change; it's an existing law. They were just moving a registry date from January 1st, 1972. They're updating it to raise money.
Right. That's
so
it.
you could totally make that argument, and it's believable, reasonable, logical argument.
But she didn't take that. She
didn't take that argument.
The law.
Right. So Plan C is there's a parole process in place to give people parole on a discretionary basis. Now, what we want to do is we want to give people parole on a discretionary basis to everybody who fits into this category. That's going to be millions of people that get work permit, travel permission. You can make an argument that, we're trying to raise money by giving more parole applications out.
I feel like it's the same argument.
It's the same exact argument. There is no difference.
That's why I'm kind of
there is no difference between the second argument and the third argument from a legal standpoint.
Yeah.
So why is the parliamentarian going to say Plan C works and Plan B doesn't?
I don't see it.
If they do, it would be illogical. I hope they do.
I hope so too.
I mean, I'm praying.
But I'm just like, what's the difference?
So.
Yikes.
Thanks for watching. For more Brad Show Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.